Do you know how to use your orc commandos? Are you making sure that you sneak, screen, and smash with your orc commandos properly? Here on Ops, episode 26. Commandos tactics are going to be explained in depth on TTS, and I'm going to show you how to use them effectively on the tabletop. Stay tuned and watch. All right, so we're back at it again. I wanted to show you the first layout and mission type was going to be on Dawn of War. The reason I wanted to show you on Dawn of War is because I wanted to kind of show you on every single layout and mission type how I would effectively, screen out my enemy opponent. You're only going to be able to do a quarter, or half of the board rather than the entire board. Unless you have 2 units of commandos, then you could put another unit back over here. But as you can see how I have them deployed out, I could have spread them out a lot more, 2 inches apart, things like that, where they could have probably held most of all of these objectives in the center, if not all 3 of them. But I didn't want to do it like that only with 1 unit, because what starts happening is you start having to pluck them off of one objective once your opponent starts shooting at them. And as you can see here, I tactically put these in position. So once they start getting shot, I can start plucking them off from this objective marker right here. All right. Obviously, on one end, there's going to be the knob and the breacher ram if you're using the breaching ram, which I like to throw in there because it essentially gives you another power fist. So very good. It's just 1 less attack, same strength, same AP, same damage output. It's just 1 less attack. But what ends up happening is you end up getting shot on your opponent's turn, and you're going to want to pluck them off from one end and not on both ends. You want to end up holding one objective marker instead of the other. Now, if I see that it's more aggressive, now you could always change this, right? But if I see it's more aggressive over here, they've deployed a lot more over here, then I'll end up doing it as such where I'm going to have the boss knob on that end instead of this end. Now, I could always turn it around, and I'm not going to change the orientation on the models just for time's sake, but I could always put the boss knob over here, something like that, right? And then they can hold this objective. These distraction grots and things like that are superfluous or not necessary. I've just put them out there so you know that you need to continue to take your bomb squigs and your distraction grots. You also want to make sure that you're holding as many bodies on that objective marker as well. So, you could hold it if someone tries to come in there and take it away from you. You at least want to have 5 OC on there as much as you can. But if they start shooting, right, you want to start flicking them off on this end so you can hold this objective marker because they're stronger on this end, or there's less shooting on this end, or vice versa like we had it previously. If there's more shooting on this end, then you want to start removing them from here, and then you want to end up holding this objective marker over here. But this is how I would start off my sneaking infiltrate in the beginning, and this is how I would do my screening on this type of mission, where I'm holding 2 objective markers to tempt the enemy to basically come out and take these objective markers from me. Remember, you're going to be at a -1 to hit with these commandos. You can't be overwatched. So if you try to smash, right, which is the third thing that the show and episode is talking about, you're going to be able to deploy out. And previously I had set them up out of 9 inches from the deployment zone. So I made sure that they can actually go in there and get a charge off. All right. Bomb squigs. This is all tactics too, right? You want to make sure you put your bomb squigs around the things that you want to survive the most: the breach and ram, and the bomb and the boss knob. All right. You're probably going to take them off last. Some people like to take them off first because they're multiple wounds instead of taking off multiple models. If that's what you like to do and you feel like it's going to be more effective like that, then do it like that. You can also reverse this a little bit. Maybe put your breach and ram in the center if you don't mind killing off your knob, right? I do. I actually like having the ram and the knob to be the last things to die because they're going to be able to kill most anything, right? If they're remaining. If I have these 3 commandos remaining and these 2, they're going to run into something, and those 2 models right there are going to end up killing and doing most of the work on whatever unit they're going to charge into. They're going to kill at least, they could kill 5 models if you're running into like an infiltrator squad or something like this. You want to make sure also that you get defender when you're running with your commandos, right? So you can have the first deployment and drop first. So you can stage into this position. So you can infiltrate and sneak into this position. So you have the opportunity to hold those objective markers and be 9 inches away from their deployment zone. So this is the first one, and I'm going to show you 2 more different mission types and how to deploy off of them and why I'm deploying and how many models I'm going to put on the objective markers, things like that. All right, so we're on to search and destroy. So once again, this is how I would start it off, being 9 inches away from the enemy deployment zone, right? So you're going to have to be back pretty much all the way to the tip over here. Now, on this one, I changed it up where I put the knob and the breach and ram on this end because this is the objective marker I want to end up holding at the end, right? You're going to have a lot of things. They're going to want to fight for the center, so it's okay if they kill you off of the center. You could start just plucking models off over here. You could potentially spread these out a little bit more so you can get more models on this end as well. And like I was telling you before, you always want to put the distraction grots behind and the bomb squig behind the things that you want surviving throughout the entire thing. So, but you want to hold 2 objectives every single time. All right. So this is how you want to sneak on and screen. So you want to sneak and screen. You want to make sure that you're hugging as much cover as possible. You don't want to create a lot of angles. You don't want to put them out too far out where they can have all kinds of angles on your models, right? And then they could just shoot them off. If there is an opportunity for you to hide behind this objective marker, behind the ruin, right? You might want to go ahead and do that. Depends really on the event that you're going to, but here on TTS, it looks like you can't really hold it from that end. So you want to put yourself in a position where you're just barely touching it. You're not creating really any angles. They're just going to have to either be on this end or right in front of it directly. But on this end right here, they're not going to be able to shoot this unit. All right. They're going to have to come out and invest and stuff like that. But you want to be very smart and very strategic about this whole entire situation. You want to make sure that you're holding 2 objectives the entire time. You want to make sure that you put the appropriate models, as always, on the end that you ultimately want to make sure that you're holding. You want to hold at the end of it all, right? Because you're going to want to hold 2 of them, obviously. But this is an opportunity for you to screen everything that's coming through. They're going to have to shoot through it in order to get past this screen right here to get into your deployment zone if that's what they're trying to do, right? So this is how I would use an effective screen on search and destroy. Also, they're -1 to hit. A lot of them being behind cover or partially obscured is going to allow you to get more models to get that cover save as well. So, and it doesn't mean a lot when it comes to commandos and orcs, things like that. It only makes them essentially a 4+ armor save. AP2 makes them back to 6 or 3, just they don't get a save at all. But still, if they're AP0, right, you're going to have the opportunity to get that 4 up for some commandos, plus that -1 to hit on top of that. So it's going to be a challenge for them to even shoot through these units because they're going to be in a -1, and 0 AP is just going to give them a 4 up like some scouts back in the scout days, right? So this is another way I usually do this. Now, if you want to, and I wanted to show you here on Search and Destroy, right? You're 9 inches away, but if you want to start pressuring your enemy, right, you want to make sure that you are going out to getting into a position where you can be ultra aggressive here, right? So you're going to take the back model, moving 6 inches, and let's say you just roll a 4 inches. All right, so make sure that this model actually places. So about 10 inches, so about a 4-inch charge. All right, so you're going to be able to put these models up here, and then you're going to be able to get into charge range. This model is being pesky. There we go. So you're going to be able to get in the charge range, and from here, let's go ahead and do a measurement real quick. All right. So anywhere in the front line is going to be about a 5-inch charge for you, because you can get within 1 inch of engagement range. So to their other ruin, you're going to be illegal. It's not going to be legal for you to do that. But up to here, you're going to be able to charge all the way up to almost their ruin, right? And you're going to get a lot closer here as well. You're going to be able to finagle these models a little bit more. Hopefully you roll something better than a 4 to actually get up there. But you're actually going to have the opportunity to be aggressive with them as well and continue to screen out with them. So they're going to have to kill this unit to get past them. You know, you're still going to be able to hold this objective marker if you end up going first and you're being the aggressor. So make sure you're holding at least one objective while you're doing this as well. That way you can sneak, screen, and smash. All right. I'm going to show you one more. All right. And this is the last layout mission type I wanted to show you real quick. This is on Crucible of Battle. I went ahead and I already staged it. Just like before, I have the breacher ram and the knob on this end, which is ultimately the objective marker that you want to hold. Now, you could always traverse this, right, and have them holding the center and this end right here and screening this side. Sometimes I like to do right side. Sometimes I like to do left side. But at this point, predominantly the remainder of my army, you know, for this position right here, I would put everything right behind this middle line right here next to the screen here, so you can't hit everything that I don't want you to hit right behind here. All right, and a couple of units over here as well. So, for example, I would put maybe a truck with some mega knobs on this end to try to go and flank and get this objective marker with maybe some storm boys or something. But the bulk of my army would be on this end, so this can screen out for the bulk of my army. And you could always swap that, right? You could always put all these commandos on this end, where you could just make sure that they're holding the objective marker over here instead, right? They're just going to be a challenge because you're going to get that guy right there, just going to be right on top, which is hilarious. All right, so put them on this end, and there you go. You could always swap it out, put the bulk of your army over here, and then be on this end with a flanking unit or whatever you can get into there. So this is how I would do these deployment types, right? For this type of commandos themselves. And if I wanted to, so this is how I would sneak and screen. If I wanted to grab them and do a quick, if you're getting first turn, right? You're going to want to grab them, move them up, get them into this position right here so you can get ready for the charge. All right, so then you could do your smash as well. And then you're going to be very close. So let's do some measurements real quick. So to the first guy, which is a knob, I believe, you're going to be about 4.5 inches out from the center, from their deployment zone. And to the next objective marker, you're going to be 9 inches out, so 8-inch charge. So you're going to be able to hit anything just about on this tabletop. And you'll have the opportunity to actually smash here as well. But this is how you use commandos effectively to sneak, screen, and smash. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the video. And give me 1 second while I do an outro. Thank you so much to everyone who continued to watch to the very end. Hopefully you enjoyed everything that I brought to you today on the Orcs Commando tactics and how I explained it to everyone on TTS. Hopefully it was an opportunity for everyone to see how I use my Orc Commandos to screen out other armies, things like that, and use them effectively to make sure that all of their melee units don't come across the board and hit all of your good stuff. All right. Thank you so much to everyone. As always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully I see you again very soon. Make sure to check out all of my other episodes on the Onslaught Gaming platform. And remember, Onslaught Gaming 40K, where victory is just a strategy away. Take care, everyone. And most importantly, war!